What's up, guys? UFC Fight Night, Yusuff versus Barboza is this weekend, and after the absolute zoo that was last weekend's card, I'm hoping we could bounce back with some good picks today. Let's get right into it. Kicking us off at women's strawweight, we have Ashley Yoder versus Emily Ducote. Um, Ashley Yoder's 8-8. She's pretty terrible. She's 35. Emily Ducote's not much better, but she's much younger. She's a better striker. I think I'd give Ashley Yoder maybe the grappling edge, maybe, but I don't think that's going to be enough to offset Emily Ducote just punching her in the face for 3 rounds. I feel like I'm just going to go with Emily Ducote decision. Pretty open and shut from my perspective, just looking at both of these girls' records. Moving up to bantamweight, we have Chris Gutierrez versus Alatong Ali. I'm going with Chris Gutierrez. I just think he's all around better than Alatong Ali. He's much bigger. He's 5'9" compared to 5'5". He's a much better striker, and he's very patient and calculated with how he strikes with people. Alatong Ali is actually not the worst fighter on planet Earth, but it is a vast step down from Montel Jackson, who Chris Gutierrez was supposed to fight last week. And I think I can trust in Chris Gutierrez to get this done. I think I would give the grappling edge a little bit to Alatong Ali, but I trust in Chris Gutierrez defensively enough to not, get ragdolled by this guy. I think I'm going to go with Chris Gutierrez probably by a decision or a late TKO. Jumping up to women's bantamweight, we have Irene Alekseeva versus Melissa Dixon. Now, I wasn't familiar with Melissa Dixon, so I went and kind of dug into her record and some of her fights, and I'm not too sure how she's the favorite in this fight. She beat she would have been 7-0 when Melissa Dixon beat her, but she's now 8-1. I'm assuming this chick is some kind of prospect, because this is the only person on Melissa Dixon's record that looks like anybody. And I went and looked at this fight, and it just looked like an early TKO stoppage to me. So I don't really consider this a very valid win. She was also getting the snot kicked out of her in this fight, to be real. I feel like people are overrating Melissa Dixon. I do. I'm going to take the underdog. I'm going to go with Irina Alekseeva. I don't think she's the greatest, but I don't think she's that bad. She's coming off of a win, a submission win over Stephanie Egger, and Stephanie Egger's not the worst fighter ever, to be honest. She's pretty decent, and she submitted her by knee bar, and about the same time it took Mara Bueno Silva to submit her via armbar. She's not bad, and she's UFC level, I would say. I'm just going to trust in Irina Alekseeva. I think she's going to have a good grappling upside as well. I think she's probably going to get the finish. I think she's probably going to submit this chick, honestly, and probably rounds 2 or 3. I think Marina Dixon's going to give her opening. I think she's probably going to take it. Jumping up to lightweight, Terrence McKinney versus Brendan Marotte. Tough late notice debut for you, Brendan. I got to be honest. Yeah, I'm going with Terrence McKinney. Pretty obvious. Brendan Marotte's not exactly a great regional fighter. He's 8-1, but that's, records can be deceiving. There's nothing about him that is particularly impressive as far as skill set goes. He seems to be a guy who really likes to work his grappling a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be able to out-grapple Terrence McKinney at all. I don't think he's going to be able to strike with Terrence McKinney, and I don't think on short notice he's going to be able to make it into later rounds to outlast Terrence McKinney. I just feel like Terrence McKinney's going to blow him up in like the first round. So yeah, I'm going with Terrence McKinney knockout round 1. Moving up to women's bantamweight, Tianara Lebosa versus Ravena Oliveira Moraes. Both of these chicks are not great, especially Ravena Oliveira. Like, digging into her regional record, man, it's just a bunch of cans with like no wins at all. I can't get behind that shit, not even a little bit. I'm going with Tianara Lebosa. Not sure that's how you say that, but I think she's just better. She's displayed at least an ability to fight, fight a person coming off like a win, which is nice. Ravenna Oliveira is I don't know. She doesn't seem very good at all, and she's just fighting cans. I just can't get behind her, not one bit. Closing off the prelims at featherweight, Darren the Damage Elkins versus TJ Brown. Now, I hate to say it. I hate to be that guy. But I think Darren Elkins is done. I love Darren Elkins to death. He was a real fun guy to watch, but I don't like this matchup for him at all, man. TJ Brown looked really fucking good against Bill Algeo. I think Bill Algeo, I think pretty highly of him. So TJ Brown had a really great performance against him, hurting him pretty badly early on. TJ Brown has good power. His grappling is really good, and I just don't see a 39-year-old, damn near 40-year-old Darren Elkins breaking TJ Brown, because TJ Brown can go the distance as well pretty easily. I just think it's a tough matchup for Darren Elkins at this state of his career. He is tough as always, and he will grind if he can, but I think TJ Brown might actually have the power to put the lights out on Darren Elkins in this matchup. I think I'm going to go with TJ Brown like TKO round 2. Moving up to bantamweight, C-Rod Christian Rodriguez versus Cameron Simon. Now this is a banger. This is a good fight. I'm pretty excited to see how this one plays out. I'm going against the grain on this one. I think there's just a bit of line overcorrection on this for Christian Rodriguez, just because he beat Raul Rosas Jr. I kind of want to pick Cameron Simon, simply because I think there's a striking upside to picking Cameron Simon. There's definitely a grappling edge on the side of Christian Rodriguez, but I think Cameron Simon has good enough defense, and he is athletic and strong enough to get himself out of certain positions in the grappling with Christian Rodriguez that other bantamweights might not be able to do. Cameron Simon's he's a really good volume striker. His technique's very good. I feel like the grappling might cancel out. I feel like Christian Rodriguez might try to implement it, and I feel like Cameron Simon might be able to defend it pretty early, and then he might opt out of trying to grapple with Cameron Simon once he feels how strong he is. And then I feel like it's going to be largely a stand-up fight, and I would favor Cameron Simon in a stand-up fight. I think his striking's better. I think he throws more out there. I think his technique is better. He is giving up about 5 inches of reach, but I think the power, the speed, and the technique will be more than enough to make up for that slight reach disadvantage. I think I'm going to go with Cameron Simon. Probably by decision. I feel like Cameron Simon might bank the first 2 rounds and maybe give up the third to Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Cameron Simon decision. Jumping up to middleweight, Andre Petroski versus Michel Pereira. This one's easy for me. Watching Andre Petroski fighting Gerald Meerschaert, I said this out loud. I'm like, I'm fading this guy in his next fight because he looked like shit against Gerald Meerschaert. On a full camp, too. He looked bad. His striking was ugly. There was just big, ugly looping shots, reaching, no technique at all. And his grappling, he couldn't get Gerald Meerschaert down, really. He was having a really hard time. Striking and grappling with Gerald Meerschaert. And man, if you're throwing those big looping out of range shots reaching against Michel Pereira, man, yikes, you're going to get chinned, I feel like. Also, he's taken this fight, Andre that is, he's taken this fight on short notice, and his gas tank is suspect already. Like, he was basically a corpse in the 3rd round of the Gerald Meerschaert fight, and he had a full camp. I don't know how he's going to look on short notice. I can't trust him at all to beat Michel Pereira. He might be able to take him down, but I think he's only going to be able to take him down maybe a couple of times before his gas tank is running on fumes. And I trust Michel Pereira to get up because he is very big. He's very strong. He's not exactly terrible at grappling. I'm going to trust him to power out of certain positions and outwork Andre Petroski and probably get a TKO in like late round. Moving up to a catchweight, Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda. Now, this fight was supposed to happen on UFC Noche, I believe, off the top of my head. And I picked Edgar Chairez to win in that fight, and he should have won, but, you know, there's always some fucking hooliganism with referees and shit like that, so it was a no contest. Now we're making the fight again. I think I'm going to pick Edgar Chairez again for the exact same reasons. Now, if you're trying to bet on these fights, I don't like Edgar Chairez at minus 320 at all. I do think he will win. I think he is the winning side. But the way underdogs have been talking lately, man, you can't count out these guys at like plus 250 against unranked guys. You know what I mean? Like, I think Edgar Chairez is going to easily outwork Daniel Lacerda. I think he's too tough. I think he's got too good a cardio. And I think he's just better, pretty much overall. I think the threat of Daniel Lacerda stifles after about 3 minutes into a fight. Now, he was fighting a bit more composed in their matchup that ended in a no contest, but he also did end up in a submission in the first round and almost lost the fight. So, you know, can Daniel Lacerda catch Edgar Chairez early and maybe stop him? Of course, there's always that chance. But I think Edgar Chairez is the winning side here, man. And I'm going to go with Edgar Chairez melting Daniel Lacerda in the later rounds. Maybe like a round 2 or 3 stoppage for Edgar Chairez. Moving up to bantamweight, Jonathan Martinez versus Adrian Yanez. Now, these guys are evens, and I feel like they probably should be. These guys are pretty similar to me in my head as far as like skill level goes. But I think I'm going to edge on the side of Jonathan Martinez. I think he's just looked better against guys that are better. Now, both of these guys have a loss to Davey Grant. Jonathan Martinez did get chinned by Davey Grant. Adrian Yanez, not Adrian Martinez, he won a decision against Davey Grant, but let's be real, guys. He lost that shit. I picked Rob Font to beat Adrian Yanez because I don't... Like, Adrian Yanez is good, but he's not that good. Like, he almost got knocked out in the first round by Randy Costa, a guy who got submitted by 48-year-old Guido Canetti in like 2 minutes, and then promptly got cut by the UFC. You know, he went to war and pretty much lost a decision against Davey Grant. Chinned by Rob Font. I just... Like, he beat Tony Kelly. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Jonathan Martinez has beaten decent competition. Like, he's coming off a win over Said Nurmagomedov, man. That's different than coming off a win of Tony Kelly. You know what I mean? I think Jonathan Martinez's leg kicks and body kicks are going to be the difference maker against Adrian Yanez. In the pocket, in the boxing, I would certainly favor Yanez, but I just don't. I think Jonathan Martinez is going to be able to dictate how this fight plays out with his style. He's a very patient striker. He's very calculated and measured, and sometimes Adrian Yanez can get caught in that firefight a little bit. And I think I trust Jonathan Martinez to throw that counter in there that catches Adrian Yanez. Also, speaking of his win over Said Nurmagomedov, dude can grapple, eh? He's definitely got the grappling upside in this fight. I'll say that for sure. Not a lot of guys at bantamweight are going to go out grapple Said Nurmagomedov and stall him out like he did, which is really impressive. Yeah, man. I'm just going to go with Jonathan Martinez, probably like round... Does he stop him? He might not. I think I'm going to go with Jonathan Martinez decision, actually. I think he's just going to outland Yanez at range. Jumping up to the co-main event at women's flyweight, Jennifer Maia versus Viviane Araújo. Yeah, I'm going with Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia, I think, is just a significant level above Viviane Araújo in the striking. She has looked actually not that bad, considering she's 35. Her striking is good, man. And I think Viviane Araújo gives her way too many openings on the feet. Now, I would slightly favor Viviane in the grappling, but I don't think it's going to be enough to offset Jennifer Maia's striking. I think Jennifer Maia is going to tee off on Viviane Araújo and probably win a decision here. I just think she's better. Yeah. Jumping up to the main event at featherweight, Super Sadiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza. I've deliberated on this one a lot, and due to recent events with underdogs winning every single main event, it's kind of swayed me, man. I'm going with Edson Barboza. I'm going with old man Edson. I'm going with geriatric Edson Barboza. For a couple of reasons. Sadiq Yusuff hasn't fought in a year. And that last fight over a year ago was against Don Shainis, who's terrible. Now, going from Don Shainis to over a year layoff to Edson Barboza, I think might be a little bit of a jump. Now, I'm not saying Sadiq Yusuff is going to look like a fish out of water in this fight or anything, because Sadiq Yusuff's very good, but I don't know how he's going to come back looking. Is he going to come back looking brand new, looking like a new and improved version? Or is he going to come back looking like the guy who was fighting Don Shainis? I don't know. Edson Barboza in this fight is going to be much bigger because he was a lightweight. He's got 4 inches of reach. He is 7 years older, but he's, almost damn near 6 foot, 4 inches of reach. And man, I see in this fight, I see Sadiq Yusuff having a hard time getting inside on Edson Barboza. And if he gets inside the pocket with Edson Barboza, he's going to have to stay there or find a way to disengage. And if he's staying there with Edson Barboza, he's in trouble. Basically. I think Edson Barboza's leg kicks are also going to be a really big story in this fight. I don't know how Sadiq Yusuff is going to handle that. His leg kick defense is fine, but it's Edson Barboza. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Edson Barboza is going to win this fight. I just do. I think he's going to get him out of there in like the second round by TKO. He's riding some momentum too. He just flying kneed Billy Quarantillo, who's a guy, I'm not saying he fights like Sadiq Yusuff, but I'm saying like Sadiq Yusuff is an all-arounder, right? Like he can grapple, he can strike, he can do jiu-jitsu. He's kind of an all-arounder, and I kind of see Billy Quarantillo in that same light. He's a really good all-arounder, except I think Billy Q applies a lot more pressure than Sadiq Yusuff will. I feel like Edson Barboza does kind of well against those guys who are just like all-arounders. I'm going to trust him. I'm going to trust old man Edson to get the TKO in round 2. We'll see. We'll see if I jinx the underdog winning streak, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like. Leave your picks in the comments. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.